Welcome back into the Huddle, the QB Huddle podcast. That is, I'm Tim, and I'm joined by my guy Lo, as usual. How you doing, Lo?
Man, I'm great. It's here. It's here.
It's here. We are just a
Here.
couple of days away. It's Tuesday. We've got a game on Thursday. We've got a full slate on Sunday. 2 games on Monday, I think. So we've got a lot of football coming up, and then we had some action just before this week of college football got kicked off, where Micah Parsons, right, big star for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm wearing his jersey today as an homage to Micah Parsons with a little green underneath, just because. And my guy is headed to Green Bay. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. Today, I'm going to give you the layout on what's going to happen in these playoffs. What's the bracket going to look like? Who's going to play who's going to win? What surprises we're going to see? And all the while, Lowe is going to poke holes in my entire theory. So we're going to see how that goes and where we come to at the end. We're going to let Lowe talk to y'all about fantasy a little bit. He was on TikTok Live just a little bit ago at Fourth and Low, dropping some fantasy nuggets. A lot of people were listening in, so make sure you listen in and get your fantasy ideas right here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button really quick. We are growing each and every day, each and every week, and we appreciate it. We are brought to you by New Era Media, and here we go. Let's start off with a hot topic, Low. Arch Manning played this weekend in his much anticipated debut. We say debut. He did start, 2-3 games last year. They were all home games against not formidable competition. He looked good. He's the next coming, right? He's the guy we've been waiting for. He's the definite Heisman winner, first round draft pick, and came out and laid a complete egg on Saturday in Columbus. It wasn't just him, right? The whole team offensively looked really bad, until the fourth quarter. Defense did what they could do. But talk about what you saw from Arch Manning, because he is getting drugged on the internet after that performance at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, I don't know what you saw. I saw the same thing though. Okay. So, and I mean that statement in a weird way. I don't know what all you saw, but I saw the same thing as y'all. Now, how y'all broke it down and how you digested it is up to you. Okay. So
Sure.
I'm going to give you my take. Okay. And Arch is going to be just fine. This is a 2A, 3A football player coming out of high school, right? He's got size, he's got stature. He's not Quinn Ewers, though. So, Texas coaches, stop running Quinn Ewers plays. He's not a check down master. He doesn't have to be, right? You're seeing mechanics that were off. I know you're going to mention those, right? Certain things. But he also looked really good at times, in my opinion. He had some great throws deep. Touchdown ball was accurate. But the play calling, you got to help your quarterback out. You're going into possibly a top 3 toughest place to play in college, and that's your first game. You're going up against a defensive coordinator that I know very well, right? And he's going to chew you up and sit like, come on. I think he settled in. I think they took the leash off a little bit, but Arch is going to be just fine, right? But if it does syndicate or validate anything, he ain't going to the NFL after this season.
No, and
Uh,
I've responded to as many people as I could that say that, oh, the Cowboys should tank and get Arch Manning next year in the first round. First of all, Dak would still be the starter for at least 2 more years. Number one. Number two, Arch's grandfather was very, very poignant in the fact that, hey, Arch is going to enjoy the entire college experience like Eli did, like Peyton did, like I did. So don't expect to see him coming out right after this year. I agree with you. I do think that there was a change in his mechanics. Now, this is something that's gone on seemingly nationwide, and it's something that has been going on since Patrick Mahomes has been in the league. But they certainly have shortened his motion. He's throwing more kind of Phillip Rivers. You mentioned it, right? Shot put kind of off the shoulder. And that release is fine in spots. It shouldn't be your go-to every release. You can shorten up the motion and still come over the top. I agree. He had a long windup. That's why they don't do a lot of RPOs with him like they did with Quinn. But the offense looked like it was in a box. Is what I felt like. Right? We're gonna spread you out and we're gonna run a little zone. Okay, we got 2 yards. That didn't work. Now we're gonna try to run everybody deep. The coverage was outstanding. The pass rush was ferocious. Arch didn't really have a lot of time to show us who he is at this point. I think fourth quarter we saw a little bit. They opened up the offense a little bit more. You got to see some of that, but that throw that he missed, that was 100% due to the change in his mechanics. You could see it's just a little underneath drag throw. It's super easy. Drop it in the bucket. He does a little sidearm thing. His fingers are like coming together as I don't even know. It looked
He,
goofy and
I'm
just a
defending. I'm
bad throw.
defending him. I'm defending him, man. Even that throw that was bad, they don't show the next half a second where he's getting mauled by the defensive player, right? I think he falls there and he could get a penalty. You got to learn how to act too, man. As quarterbacks, just you fall a little bit because that ref was honed in on you, but you didn't fall. So he stood tough, but move him around. Come on, like
Yeah,
let him move. Like let him move. I didn't see a lot of bootlegs. I didn't see enough
not
out
a
of the
lot.
pocket.
They did a little moving of the pocket, but you're right. They didn't. They tried a couple quarterback sweeps. I'm really out on the quarterback sweeps. You can miss me with that. I get the ball, put it in. I'm going to run around the edge. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody.
And then
Um,
and the
can't
quarterback
stand that play.
sneak, the quarterback sneak. Yo, if you're gonna
Yeah,
do that,
he almost got
that's when
hurt.
you spread him out, and then let him run. The Josh
Yeah,
Allen, everyone knows it. Why are we doing? You're not a tush push guy. This isn't. You're not in your home field. I don't know. There was a lot of things coaching and organization wise I could harp on, but as far as Arch goes, he gonna be just fine. He's gonna tailor
yeah.
it all up. I hope the motion was exaggerated. I hope the mechanics were exaggerated today, and he can find the balance. Right, we don't want you full winding up, but we also don't want you shot putting. Philip Rivers did it great, but he's a stand tall. He's 6'5". He's a big guy, so you don't have to throw that way. Um, he's still
You don't.
developing.
And
He's still developing.
it
So
was hard to watch a Manning throw the ball the way he was throwing the ball. I dumbfounded. I
there
was like,
was
I don't
there
remember
was
this a year ago, but
there was some comparisons to Eli's first start and Peyton's that were pretty cool. They put up similar numbers
and they lost.
and they didn't play as tough as opponents. So
Correct.
he came in with big shoes to fill, being Texas, not Quinn Ewers. Um, they have him as all this stuff already. I mean, the kid hasn't played that much football, and he
No.
hasn't played against this type of talent even in high school. So I'm sure we'll revisit Arch throughout the season. But we
Now
digress. He'll be in
let,
the league another. He'll be in college another year. Oh yeah,
let me
and
be
you
the
see all
bad
the
guy.
commercials? Did you see all the commercials? He's
Yeah,
still bringing in close to 15 mil. So let's
he's
not
not
talk
going
about
anywhere.
he's not going
He's
anywhere.
not going anywhere. I'll be the bad guy here. There was a lot of people waiting, and I mean laying in wait, hoping that he was going to play like this, and immediately went to social media and compared him to Shador Sanders, and this was your great white hope, and this was the guy, and blah 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 blah, and Shador this and Shador that. Why the two of them are being talked about when one's in the NFL, one's in college? It just sounds like victim mentality to me. We want a reason to cry and complain, and I bet we won't talk about Arch the way we talked about Shador. Bullshit. Arch is getting drugged on every media outlet possible, and deserves some of it. I would say I'm not a fan of the Sarkisian offense to begin with. I hate it. To me, it's very gimmicky, very high schoolish. You don't give the quarterback a lot of tools
It's
um,
protecting,
in his
protecting.
offense. And I don't think Arch needs to be protected. I think Arch needs to run an offense like Bryce Underwood is running up in Michigan, where you're in multiple sets, you're in a huddle, you're changing plays at the line of scrimmage, you're doing quarterback things. A true freshman had more autonomy at the line of scrimmage than Arch Manning, and that to me just blows my mind. I can't stand the Shark offense. I can't. It's too
I need
bottlenecky. I don't like it.
I need just to wrap it up, man. I need
Yeah,
him
we
to
gotta wrap
run
it up.
the Shador Sanders offense. Run the spread, man. He's an athlete. He needs to embody the fact that his last name is going to get heat every week, same way Shador did. I think they should have a similar career. Only difference is one's at Texas and one's at Colorado. One
Yeah.
has their daddy coaching, one didn't have their daddy coaching. So let it fly. Let his legs loose. Come on. I'm still UT. Everybody knows. Still hook him. But you know, do what you can. So
Well, yeah, and I mean, it is what it is. That being said, I don't have this as part of our talking points, but as a Michigan fan, I got to say it. Bryce Underwood looked as advertised. Yeah, he had some growing pains, and there's some things that he's going to have to get better at, like any young quarterback. Big moment coming up for him this weekend in Norman. I'm going to be there, 40-yard line, 17 rows up from the field, 14 rows up from the field. and can't wait to see this young freshman go to work here in Norman. Should be a great game. Looking forward to it. Let's move on. Right, we're going to go with the seedings in the playoffs, and you're going to tell me where I'm wrong. Good luck with that because I'm never wrong usually. So we're gonna go with the AFC first. All right. So here's your seedings as I see it in AFC from bottom to top. 7 will be your Cincinnati Bengals. 6 will be the Chargers. 5 will be the Pittsburgh Steelers, quarterbacked by A-Rod. 4 will be the Texans, once again winning their division, weak as it is. Bills will win their division in the East and be at number 3. Ravens will have a big regular season. They are stacked. We know this. They'll be at number 2. And then I, out of respect, gave the Chiefs the number 1 seed. It just feels like they're always there, right? So that's the picture. That's where we are. Am I missing a sneaky team? Would you replace any of these teams out of the 7? Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, let's start from the first one that jumps out, and I'm gonna just lock it in so we don't talk about it. The Chiefs. The
Yeah.
Chiefs are going back. The Chiefs are going back. Okay. So they're gonna be in the seating wise. And I'm not saying they're going back to the Super Bowl. They're gonna win the division and they're gonna be a top. They're gonna be up top. Okay. Let's just start with that. I agree with you there. I agree with you. I don't got the Ravens at 2. I don't. I don't got the
Okay.
Ravens at 2, and I'm gonna tell you who I should have. They're on there, but the Bengals. The Bengals.
Whoa.
The
Okay.
Bengals. The Bengals are going to make a splash, and they're bringing back something that I keep going back to at the Peyton Manning era. He's got 2 receivers. He's saying screw defense, and there was glimpses of it last year. So if you can go 9 and what were they 9-6 something like that last year, and have a horrendous defense, you re-up your defense. You paid some guys. You know what you're doing now, and now you got a locked in receiver who didn't play all year. You got Gasecki, who's a little hurt here and there, but won't matter. Won't matter. Those 2 guys, that offense is going to be so high potent. Like it's going to be pass heavy. You're going to be third and floor or 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. You're going to stack the box, and they're going over the top. If Joe Burrow doesn't show anything this preseason, he's ready to ball and throw the football.
Okay.
Okay, so there's no scare there. I got the Bengals. They got to move up a
Bengals.
couple. They got to
All
move up
right.
a couple. I do have the Ravens ahead of the Bills, though. Okay, and I got the Bills more at 4. The Texans, in my opinion, they're bumped out. I'm bumping the Texans out of it. They're not going to finish top. They won't. They won't. They won't. They might be there because of the division. I know that's why you're throwing them in there. The division's not that.
Well, they'll win the division. If they're not going to win the division, who is?
I
Jacksonville?
I have Jacksonville as my sleeper.
Okay.
Jacksonville needs to jump in there, and they fought. They get it, and they do get bumped. So I'm not going to say they're far. Jacksonville is my sleeper in that division this year. I don't think the Colts are going to do much. They're figuring it out way too
Oh,
late in the
no.
offseason.
Yeah.
Nope, not going to happen. And then let's see. You got the Colts, Texans. Yeah, I mean we can go ahead and just talk about those 2 teams, the Texans and the Jags. That's really all we're talking about,
Okay.
right? So Trevor Lawrence wakes up this year, has himself a Herbert type year. That's where I'm at on that one. Now, another one I want you to defend is how do you have the Pittsburgh Steelers sneaking in?
So, well, first of all, they will be the second team in the AFC Central, right, or AFC North.
Okay.
Apologies. The Ravens win that division because they usually do. You have the Bengals winning that division
Bengals,
clearly, which would
which
which would
means,
probably mean that the North would have to have 3 teams to get in. I don't think they're going to have 3. I think they're going to, or I think they are going to have 3. So we're kind of on the same page there, but I think the Bengals are the ones sneaking in because of that
oh,
defense. They're going to have to win a late season game to sneak into that 7th seed, which they almost did a year ago. But I have Pittsburgh coming in second in one of the better divisions in football, and so to me, if you come in second in the AFC North, you're going to be in the playoffs at a high rate. That's why I have them at 5 because I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure if Aaron gets it done.
I think he does, at least for a little bit. And then the Chargers, the Chargers continue to make the playoffs, right? Usually at the lower seeds. They'll come in second in the West. Now that could be a stretch to some because some people have got the Broncos winning the West. Some people think the Broncos might be a Super Bowl team. I'm not here for any of that nonsense. The Broncos are the Broncos. The Chargers, under leadership of Jim Harbaugh, with the best pure thrower in the game today, Justin Herbert, and the Chargers are back in the playoffs, baby. They're not ready
You,
to win the
you
West just yet.
The Broncos are going to get in. You can bump out whoever you want. They're going to finish two. I agree with you on that. But they have the returning edge rusher, Ellis. He's going to have a good year. Their defense is going to be a tough one to get over. Plus, they got the wideout, Troy Franklin. He's going to have a bigger year. I did not know that I believe it's him and Bo Nix played together. I didn't know this.
Oh,
And
okay.
they have a relationship. But more importantly, that defense, man. PS2 is the guy. They have a third year corner in Riley Moss. He's gonna do well on defense, and they know they're coming his way because don't throw at PS2. We all know that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I got the Broncos, and I thought for sure you'd have them in there as a lock. Bo
I
Nix
got
is an
Bo
up and
Nix having
coming.
a hard sophomore slump. That offense is going to struggle
So
this year.
if you asked me, are you taking Kingsbury and Daniels or Peyton and Nix? I'm going Peyton and Nix.
In today's game, I'm taking the former because also too, as good as Sean Payton is, has the game, like a lot of the older coaches, especially when you sat out for a little bit, has the game started to kind of creep by you a little? Last year it seemed maybe not. The year before it seemed certainly yes, I would say. And now you're in the third year. This is the year where Sean Payton is either going to ascend and get that team into a deep playoff run, or we're going to start talking about maybe Sean Payton needs to go back to network TV. I don't know yet.
High school football.
High school football. But a lot of this is going to depend on Bo Nix. I just don't think we're going to get out of what we got out of Bo Nix a year ago. I think it's going
See,
to not look the way it did.
I think we're going to get that. I think this is only year two. I
I
don't
don't
think
believe in Bo Nix.
Russell. I believe in Sean Payton.
I mean, Sean Payton, yes, but you still got to have something to work with. I think that you've seen the best that you're going to get out of Bo Nix. I
If
don't
Bo
know.
Nix replicates his season last year, he'll have a better season than Jaden
I don't think
Daniels.
listen, I was surprised he was as good as he was last year. And maybe I'll be surprised again. I don't
And we
see
got
it.
an
I don't
OC,
have
and
confidence.
we got an OC. I'll wrap this statement here, but we got an OC out there in Washington. In my opinion, he sets quarterbacks up. That's great, but he leaves them hanging a lot of the time.
Oh,
There's a guy still sitting in Arizona that was drafted that hasn't played well since like it all falls
it's been a
apart. And
minute.
I think we give him a bigger break, that OC, and I think he's the one that's actually saved by talented quarterbacks.
Oh,
Sean Payton develops these guys. He takes what some people see as a tier two, a Bo Nix, and says, "No, this man's played a lot of football. I can resonate, right?
okay.
Put the best people in the best positions, and that's how you get success."
Now
So,
let's
uh,
remember we're talking about this. Sean Payton was an assistant coach on the Dallas Cowboys before he got his head coach job at New Orleans, and who became his quarterback was Drew Brees. So as much as we want to put Sean Payton on a pedestal, right? And some people it's Drew Brees, some people it was Sean Payton. I'm of the thought that it was both. I think it was a perfect match. They came together. I think he would have had the same success right here in Dallas with Tony Romo. You can go ahead and
oh,
start that
here it
clock.
goes.
I
There it
think we have.
is.
I think he has the same success with the Tony Romo as he did with the Drew Brees, but that situation never panned out because if anyone's watching Netflix, you know that Jerry is a narcissistic ass that will never hire a strong head coach because he just can't share the credit. So I think we all know that. And so anyway, now I'm going to get into a rant that I don't want to get into. So let's move on. Stop talking about Sean Payton because it just upsets me. Let's talk about the
You're
wild card
upset.
round.
You're upset because what could have been.
Woo, I'm
Okay.
getting sweaty. I'm getting
But
sweaty
I'm
over here.
telling you that they're going to get into the playoffs because of what it is. He
Well,
wanted
we'll see.
Drew, right? He wanted Drew. He never no instance of getting rid of him. He didn't want Russ. This is only year two for Bo Nix and Peyton, not year three. Um, yeah, I think he makes the jump, and I think we talk about Sean Payton a little bit more this year as well. Other than that, man, I think your AFC is not bad. The heavy hitters are in there. I would swap out a couple, and I think it's
Yeah.
okay. So
Well,
yeah.
I had to
Well,
have a little
so who's your
surprise. I thought the Steelers were a surprise.
now?
So
Let's roll with what you said, Let's say it pans out in Tim's fantasy land.
That's right.
And what's the
This is
wild
Tim's
card round
fantasy
look
league.
like?
So here's the wild card round. Now this is not all fantasy. I mean I had to dive in a little bit to really understand how these matchups were going to work out. So now we've got the Ravens at number 2. They will host the Cincinnati Bengals in the original wild card game. Now, that's going to be a night game. That's going to be cold in Baltimore. Baltimore is going to lean on that run game. They don't just have Derrick Henry. They've got another running back who was supposed to be there last year, got hurt. He's a slasher, right? He can move. The Ravens, with all the hype around Cincinnati, because Cincinnati doesn't have a defense, as much as Joe Burrow is just a stellar quarterback, this game is going to go back and forth, a little bit of a shootout, even though the Ravens defense is incredible. But the Ravens defense will make a play late and put the ball in Lamar's hands in this game. And Lamar is going to have his fourth quarter moment, and he's going to beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals in that Saturday night wild card matchup. Next up, the Bills at number 3. Do you want to talk
Before
about
you
this
move
first?
on,
Okay.
just before you move on, I only got one comment because I can
What's that?
agree with everything you said. You're assuming that the ball gets put back in Lamar Jackson's hands.
Yes. Yeah, I said
The goal is to end up with Joe Burrow with the ball.
I agree, but the Ravens defense is going to make a play. In fact, it's going to be that safety number 14, Hamilton. He's
Kyle
going to make
Hamilton.
a play that is going to change the outcome. I mean, I don't know how exactly, but he's going to make the turnover play. Maybe it's a T. Higgins across the middle, takes a big shot, ball pops up in the air, and the Ravens have the ball. Somehow the Ravens are going to end up with the ball because of the defense and go on that last minute drive.
I can see what you're saying, but Hamilton comes
Oh, my
up to
chair just
guard
broke.
T. Hamilton comes up to guard T, and Jamar Chase is wide open across the field on a crossing route and takes it about 40 yards to probably seal the deal. Lamar gets a chance, not enough time. Andrews drops another ball. They cut him in the offseason.
Oh my God, you're
Bengals
not cutting
win and
Andrews.
go. Yep.
Okay,
Isaiah
there we go.
Likely might even be starting by then. So
You shocked me so much, my chair broke, and now I'm stuck in this position. So this is where we are. Uh, the Bengals, the Bills rather at the 3 seed will then host the 6 seeded Chargers. Now the Chargers are going to come in with an offensive game plan. They've been running the ball. They've been averaging 150 yards on the ground. They've been averaging 300 yards in the air with Justin Herbert. They've been playing great. Defense has been lights out, but they're going to run into a buzzsaw. And in this buzzsaw is going to be Josh Allen and the Bills are going to blow out the Chargers. So, they're going to blow the decals off the Charger helmet. That's how bad this game is going to go. Josh Allen is going to go unbelievable. 4 touchdowns in the air, 2 more with his feet. It's going to be a snow game, but you can't stop Buffalo. It doesn't matter. And the Buffalo wins this game going away. In fact, Mitchell Trubisky is in the game late in the fourth quarter, giving old Josh a break. So Bills take out the Chargers. So you got the Ravens and the Bills left so far. Give me your thoughts.
I will not argue on it because of the outcome, but there is a Buffalo bias Bills guy talking opposite of me right now. This
I,
guy,
I don't know
this
what you
guy,
mean. I don't know
whichever
what you
side he's on. He is a biased
mean.
Bills fan who loved to see Jim Kelly possibly get one, and now it's Josh Allen. Josh Allen might be the modern day Jim Kelly. Oh, wait, he hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl yet. So I see it happening, but the next round is where I want to hear your real thoughts. We'll get back to that. Chargers lose because of weather. They would have to
Okay.
swing it. The only way they lose is because of the weather.
Okay. Fair enough.
And that's the only reason why. It will be freaking cold. They have those badass white jerseys now in Buffalo. So we'll see. I'm not going to argue it, but there is some bias going on here.
Maybe a
But
little.
proceed.
Now, that's the Sunday night game, but there's going to be a Sunday afternoon game that really no one's going to pay attention to. It's the early game of the day. It's the Texans going to the Steelers. Now, there's some talk. The Steelers are back in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers, things have been great. But this is the Texans, CJ Stroud. They have owned the wild card weekend. Not so fast, my friend, in the words of the great Lee Corso. because the Steelers are going to take this one because Aaron Rodgers is going to have a fourth quarter to remember. They're going to go into the fourth quarter down by 3, but Aaron is going to throw 3 fourth quarter touchdowns, and the Steelers are going to propel themselves to a huge win. Steeler Nation celebrating. The rafters are going crazy. Everyone's happy because the Steelers just beat the Texans, another Ohio State quarterback out of the playoffs. Ohio State themselves probably out of the playoffs by then. And I digress. Probably not. They're the best team in college right now. But the Steelers will beat the Texans in wild card weekend. What say you?
I don't disagree. There's a
Oh,
little bias
I'm
here.
on fire.
Relax. Relax. I got the discount double check coming through only because you have them matched up with the Texans. Remember, I think the Broncos are in the mix, and I think the Broncos beat the Steelers if they're in that spot. So that's just where I'm at. I'm not high on the Texans. I'm not high on CJ Stroud. He's the one that I think does not duplicate even last year, which creates a 3-year trend of going down, and he goes down like Dak. Your best year was your rookie year.
Okay. That's fair. I can't disagree with that because CJ did have a slump last year and then he came back and he played a little bit better, but I think you might be onto something with the Dak comparison. We'll see as we
Oh
move
yeah.
on. Let's get to the divisional round. We've got 4 teams left. We've got the Chiefs that will take on the Steelers, and we've got the Ravens taking on the Bills. Now, that Chiefs Steeler game, that's going to be Saturday night. The Ravens Bill game, probably Sunday afternoon before the NFC Showcase game, right? That's typically how they do it. So the Chiefs host the Steelers. This is set up. Patrick Mahomes, he's going to another Super Bowl because the number 1 seed, 2 home game problem. Not so fast, my friend. Aaron Rodgers is not coming to lose. Aaron Rodgers knows that this is it for him. Aaron Rodgers is coming, and he's going to let Patty know it's not your time yet. Your time is on hold because I'm here. I'm in the AFC with a team that's in the playoffs, and the Steelers, with a last-second field goal, beat the Chiefs 24-21. Andy's devastated. He retires in the press conference. Patrick doesn't know what he's going to do without Andy Reid in 2026, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are moving on and don't care about any of that. I know you're going to
No,
disagree with me.
no, not at all. First of all, if the Steelers do even get there, which I'd be happy, right? But Mahomes took what Aaron Rodgers did he watched him growing up. So there's nothing last second that Aaron Rodgers is going to do that Patrick can't. Patrick Mahomes has already been last second, if you will, already been walked off on by the real GOAT, Thomas, right?
Yeah.
So, no. New haircut, newlywed, guy's ready to catch some balls over here. He'll be married
Yeah.
by then. He'll be married by then. Parties will be underway. Andy Reid will be present, right? You know where they're going to be playing at, right? And it ain't called Burrowhead. So let's be real. Chiefs do have an easier road. They get there. They're worried and they'll be sitting at home mid third quarter. Chiefs fans are already tuning out of that game, maybe have it on their phone, and they're watching the Bills and Ravens prepare, probably walk onto the field, pending how they do that. That's the matchup you should be focused on. Don't worry and focus on no Chiefs and Steelers. Okay, it's
Okay.
intriguing, but sorry, I'm taking and that's a win for the Steelers. Just to get there would be a win. Aaron might even get another contract year just to get back to there. So I'm going Chiefs easily. Steelers could if they make it that far. Rodgers gets re-signed. More focus on this Ravens and Bills matchup. So
Okay.
let's
All right.
hear it. Let's hear the bias, Bills. Let's
Patty
go.
is going to lose to another old man. That's what I'm going to say. So the Ravens, because understand this, the Ravens and the Bills play week 1 this year.
Mhm.
The Ravens will win that game. I said
It'll
it.
have no effect, though. That'll have no effect on this
But it
playoff
will
game.
have effect. It will have effect because that one win will force the game to be in Baltimore as opposed to
Okay.
Buffalo because
Okay.
Baltimore is the 2 seed while Buffalo is the 3 seed. So Buffalo has to take the trip to Maryland. Now, it's a cold, blustery night. It's maybe some flurries, maybe a little bit of rain, but there's no snow to worry about, nothing like that. Lamar Jackson and company are going to get off to a torrid start, right? In the first half, Josh Allen is going to have an interception and a fumble. And we're going to think, Whoo, here we go again. Josh Allen is fumbling the bag in this divisional round. The Bills are out again. Lamar's going to he's on his way to an AFC title game. It looks all good at halftime. It's 17-0. The Ravens are blowing them out of the water. It looks great for the Ravens. My phone's going crazy about Lamar Jackson, the best quarterback of all time, on my phone. I can see it now. I can hear it. You're probably at my house next to me going, I told you Lamar's the real deal. I told you Lamar's the real deal. But the Bills get the ball coming out of half. The Bills get a touchdown return coming out of half. And all of a sudden, the momentum is changing just a little bit. Now Lamar comes out, throws a pick. Uh-oh. DeMar Hamlin has a big interception and gives the ball back to Josh. On the first play, Josh goes downtown, Julie Brown, and it's 17-14. What is going on? And the Bills go on a big run. Both visiting teams win in the divisional round as the Bills end up beating Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens 31-17. They saw that 17-0 score, and it didn't matter. They just went on a run in the second half. The Bills are headed to the AFC title game where they will host Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on.
This is crazy. This is blasphemy. This has nothing to do with no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's some bias creeping in there, and it's a great story. But let me tell you, it sounded I had reminiscence of a Saints and Vikings game where the last second is thrown. But guess what? Stephon Diggs is no longer in Buffalo.
We don't need him.
He's been gone.
Don't
Okay.
need him.
That's not gonna he's the one that makes those catches and cribs it. Who are the receivers again for Buffalo?
There's guys. They have guys
Oh, okay.
on
They're
the
guys,
roster
right.
that
So
play
Josh
receiver.
Allen's throwing this dagger to himself. I get it. They're gonna tip it. He's gonna catch it. Then he's gonna run. But
He's
there's
done
gonna
that
be a
before.
fumble.
He did
Kyle
it before.
Hamilton's gonna show him real quick that I can hit too, because Josh Allen stiff arms defensive tackles. He's gonna think that this DB doesn't got anything. Kyle Hamilton being the Pro Bowler, he is gonna lay the wood, man. Josh Allen gets hit. He fumbles. Because last year, I think we didn't blame him as much because, well, he got the ball there. Still a bad throw. Josh Allen fumbles the bag, pun intended. Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Not only does Lamar win, he loses the MVP because he realizes that a Super Bowl is more important. Loses the MVP race to Joe Burrow, which is no problem because Lamar Jackson gets to go to the Super Bowl and Derrick Henry is going to rush for 150 when he gets there.
Wow. Okay, so you completely went right to the AFC title game and told us that the Ravens will beat the Chiefs in
Yeah,
Kansas
you
City.
heard it. You heard the little sneak peek, right? You had the little sneak peek.
I hear you. Sadly, the Chiefs have already lost the game and will not be hosting the Chiefs Invitational as it's known. And so I've got the Steelers headed to Buffalo. Now, this is a game where you've got a very experienced coach, a Super Bowl quarterback going into Buffalo, and here we are with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills once again. You know, there's no way. It's all set up for Pittsburgh because we know that the Bills can't get over the hump. Or can they? This is a game that Josh Allen is going to literally take the throne away from Aaron Rodgers. He's going to take the keys away and let him know it's his kingdom, baby. This is Josh Allen's land. Josh is going to go crazy. There's no snow. It's 50 degrees in Buffalo. It's beautiful. I don't know how it's 50 in January, but it's 50 degrees. Josh Allen goes crazy. He throws for 3 touchdowns, runs for another one. James Cooks has 2 touchdowns on the ground. The Steelers are reeling. They realize it's been a fantasy the whole time. They've played way beyond their means. Aaron Rodgers is looking at condos and wherever, Bahamas, wherever he's going on the sideline. It's over. The Bills are headed to the Super Bowl for the AFC. So
you can say what you want. I'll go with your matchup. Your matchup, if it gets there, Steelers and Bills. Let me live in Tim's fantasy land for a while. The biased Bills and the stupendous Steelers. They play each other. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. There's a discount double check. He tries to say relax, but I don't think it's a shootout. I think Josh Allen plays bad if he plays the Steelers defense. Unfortunately, they still come out with the win. I do side with you on this one. If that's the matchup that does take place, then Josh Allen gets lucky again. Didn't have to see all his bad guys, and we'll say Batman gets to go finally to the Super Bowl. I just Does he
Oh,
get a new
you hate it.
haircut? What's changing? What's changing? The Bills, in my opinion, Josh Allen may have gotten better. The Bills got worse this offseason. I don't see them getting much better. Maybe they got something secret juice that I don't know about. Maybe Josh Allen's Batman belt has more tools on it now. We will see. I don't see anything changing. They're living off of Josh Allen. I just hope they don't die by Josh Allen.
All right. Well, you don't agree. Tell us in the chat who's your AFC sleeper team and who from the AFC in your mind is going to make it to the Super Bowl. I've got the Bills. Lowe's got the Chiefs, I think. No, you said Lamar.
No, Chiefs
You
and
said
Ravens make
Lamar.
it, but
You
Lamar
said Lamar.
goes.
You said
Chiefs
Lamar.
and Ravens make it, but Lamar goes. Hey, and then in the chat, if y'all don't care to, oh, sleeper teams, just put not the Bills.
Just
Just put
not
not
the,
the
that's such
Bills.
a hater. That's such a hater comment.
We
Don't
got to
do
be
that.
realists. There's some bias in here. I'm like, this man is a Bills fan, but he's not. He's a Josh Allen fan. We know
All
that.
right. All right.
We know
Well,
that. So the
now that we've
NFC should go a lot quicker, I would think, because the NFC's, I
I'll go
mean,
through it a little bit. Now, we did have a mix up. We did have a little mix up where Micah Parsons left the Dallas Cowboys and went to the Green Bay Packers. Now, I have not allowed that to change my predictions because my predictions were made before that trade happened, right? So, when this is all said and done, we'll take a look at that and see if the Micah Parsons trade changes anything within this dynamic. But let me give you the seeding. And this time I'm going to go top to bottom. So, your four division winners: Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come in at number 4. Okay. Again, it'll be like last year. I think it's a weak division. I don't think Tampa is in the best team in the NFC necessarily, but they're not going to have like a 13-win season, I don't think. So they'll be at that 4 seed like they were a year ago. Coming in to round this thing out, the Eagles, the Packers, and somehow I had to sneak them in the 7th seed 49ers just because that's kind of a respect thing. They're always there. Brock Purdy is a solid guy. They have a solid organization, solid team. They always seem to find a way to make the playoffs. So now that's 3 teams from the NFC West, which between the West or the East, which one's the better division? Actually, the North too. I mean, it's hard to tell. The North has some really good. The Vikings could be incredible this year because of JJ. We don't know, or they could be terrible this year because of JJ. We don't know. So I'll put that out there. How do you feel about the seedings as they stand?
Uh, let me touch on the first four first. I don't have Washington, but it's an easy flip. Washington and the Eagles flip. Okay, Philly's going to win that division. That's just how. Yep, Philly's going to win it, and it's going to be on the back of the wide receivers this year. So Devontae and AJ have a very good year. Sneak peek at fantasy picks, right there, giving y'all a little segue into that for later on. But Jalen Hurts delivers the ball accurately. We know that he consistently can deliver the ball when he passes to safe areas. I think he improves on that. I think the Saquon train is it's tough to replicate a year like that, so it falls off a little bit. But they got another sleeper in there. Stash him now, Mr. Shipley. They have some running backs that can run behind that old line. So I'm curious to see what they do. I think they win again. I think it's closer than we think. Maybe 12 and 13 wins between the two. They split with each other, so other games matter. And the games that matter is the Dallas Cowboys games.
Hmm.
Who splits with the Dallas Cowboys? Whichever one of those teams, Philly or Washington, drops the game to the Cowboys, unfortunately, they drop the division. So
I don't
that's my
think
take on
neither.
them.
I don't think neither team splits with the Cowboys. I think it's the Giants you might be more concerned about that might
Ooh,
get up and snip one of those 2 teams. I think the Giants might be the 3rd best team when it's all said and done this year in the division.
I have a couple splits already for those two. That's why I went with the Cowboys because I think they are going to get swept, but I think the Cowboys might steal one somewhere. So the Rams, almost a similar situation. I think they battle injuries, man. I don't wish that upon anybody, but I have this theory. When these running backs sign their extensions for big years, they missed some time that year. It's
Yeah.
been proven. You hate to say it that way, but I'm a big trend guy. And Kyron just signed a 3-year extension. We're going to see some Blake Corum this year, right? There's going to be some injuries. We want
Good.
to get
That's a
Kyron
good thing.
healthy. It could be a good thing for a Michigan guy. Other than that, I don't know what depth is behind him. I know they drafted another rookie, but even then, Devontae Adams now in the mix. Stafford starting. I hear he's good. I told y'all he would be fine. They're just, he doesn't want to play in the offseason, preseason.
Right.
He's hurt.
Right.
Make up something.
Protection.
Yep, he's back. I think he learns how to use his weapons. I think it's a little tougher road. I think the Cardinals make some noise out that way. Um, and more importantly, the 49ers, they do what they're supposed to do, and they win that division. So, again, Nuhi, I'm still on the train. If you're watching 49ers, that ain't biased. I'm not a huge 49er fan, but I think they take care of business. The Bucks, clean sweep, but I do think they have a dominant year. I think the Bucks win 12 or 13 games. I
That'd
don't
be
think
great.
it's closer. I think the Bucks are there. I think the Bucks got it. I think they have a great leader, and they go with the pack, and that's what's next for me. The Packers do round it out. They got better. They got better. Their offense needs to figure it out. But to get where they got the last couple years and not really have it figured out on offense, barring all the injuries, just focus on the long game. Green Bay focuses on the long game; they'll be all right. Even though you're getting what is it, battered goods already?
Yeah, he's
Because
already hurt.
yeah, he's already hurt. So
Yeah, so we have the same teams. You have them mixed around a little bit, in a little
sure,
bit of a different recipe.
I don't
Uh,
have too many sleepers coming out of the NFC. I don't have too many sleepers coming out of there.
so that'll make this interesting. The wild card weekend. Wild card
Yep.
weekend. Washington will host the 49ers. The Rams will host the Packers, and the Buccaneers will host the Eagles. Now, you said earlier that the Eagles would beat the Buccaneers this year on their way to their Super Bowl. So let's get into this. I've got Washington at the 2 seed taking out the 49ers at the 7 seed. Jaden Daniels headed to the divisional round. I've got the Rams beating the Packers easily in their wild card game in LA, the number 3 versus number 6. Matthew Stafford throws for 5 touchdowns in that game and gets the Packers off the board. And then the Buccaneers, well, they host the Eagles. And yes, they dropped that game to the Eagles. The Eagles have had enough of losing to the Buccaneers in playoffs. They're going to go ahead and beat the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield in that wild card game. Hurts my heart to say it, but that's going to be based on all defense. Jalen Hurts will have a terrible game, but the Buccaneers will still lose, which will be unfortunate. Um, any surprises from you there?
Other than I just think Philly's going to host a home game, and that's how they get their wins. I think the Rams and Philly, I think they both potentially could host how it falls. But I got home teams in the NFC. That's my take on that. Home teams, whoever it is, they win in the NFC wildcard round.
Okay, and then I have the two of the three winning. I
Yep.
have and listen, putting the Buccaneers in there would
If
have
the
just been
Packers
fun.
If the Packers go to LA, I don't see them taking that win. LA it's become actually a pretty tough place to play with Stafford and company.
Yeah,
And Washington, if they don't host, I have them dropping. So that's my take. If they don't host a game, it's tough. I don't think they play as well on the road with the lights, especially if they had to go to San Francisco.
ooh,
So
that's a tough place
we'll
to play.
yeah, and see San Francisco if they can win that division, like I said, they'll be the ones hosting. And
Yes,
Rams, I think, are a road warrior team. I think they can travel somewhere, and I think they can win, especially if it's a Florida, out of Tampa Bay. But I think the Packers do fall because they're not hosting. So pretty straightforward round though. I got even with these matchups where they're at. Yeah, I agree with you. Washington takes it based on the home. Rams dominate the Packers. I'm with you. And the Eagles show the Bucks it's not quite your time yet.
yeah, not
So
quite, not quite. Divisional round then would have the number 1 seeded Lions, who are on their bye. They would host the Philadelphia Eagles, which we would all want to see. That's a game that everyone's tuned in for. And then on the other side, Washington at the number 2 seed, they host the Rams, the road warrior team, as you've suggested, who is very veteran heavy. So Lions, Eagles. I think the Lions come in, they're healthy this year. They can't possibly get hit by the injury bug like they were a year ago. And that dominant defense versus the Eagles' dominant defense, I think, is better. And I think they have the better quarterback. I think they're about the same running the ball, but I think they have just a better nucleus offensively. So I give the nod to the Detroit Lions to beat the Eagles 24-21 in a very close game in Detroit.
Pause
Then I have
right there.
Washington.
Pause right there.
Oh, you want me to pause?
Hold the phone.
I don't want to
Pause
pause.
real
I
quick.
told you what's happening. The Eagles are out.
Pause
We don't talk
real
about them
quick.
anymore.
The Eagles, first of all, even if they're not hosting, we're going with the matchup that you presented. The Lions dropped this game. They're not
How?
over that playoff. They're just not ready yet. They lost their leader offensively, who masked everything so well. Laporta's going to have a down year, right? Jameson might not even be talked about because Amon Ra will eat up some targets. But I don't see the run game being, what do they call them? Knuckles and Sonic, or what? I don't see that happening
You don't
again.
see Gibbs
Gibbs is
going crazy again?
I see Gibbs getting carries, but them struggling to try to find a way to include Montgomery. And that doesn't matter against that Philly defense. We're
Hmm.
forgetting and downplaying when you said, I think they have the better quarterback. Well, one has a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The other, well, he was close. He got there, but he didn't quite get over the
Jared
hump.
Goff has been to listen. Jared Goff took the Rams to the Super Bowl and was not far from taking the Lions to the Super Bowl. He's taken two teams deep in the playoff runs. And with everyone healthy in Detroit last year, the Lions play in that Super Bowl, not the Eagles. So I
It's
don't see
tough
how
when I
you could
think about
possibly think the Eagles are going to beat the Lions. It's
Because when I think about
not
the
happening.
Lions, I think of their coach. When I think about the Lions, I don't think about players as much. I respect Jared Goff. He was in my top 10
Well,
QBs.
you don't think you wouldn't take Dan Campbell over that jackass in Philly?
Not when Philly has the guys that he has playing. And then you mentioned they're about equal at running back. You must be talking about Montgomery and Gibbs combined.
Yeah, I'm
Because
just talking about how they run the ball and how
Saquon
effective they are
Barkley is
running the
going to
ball.
run it way better, and Jalen Hurts will have more rushing touchdowns in that game.
If they get to the 1 yard line, sure.
I mean, they
If
could
they
just
get
push
there,
their way all the way down.
they're not.
Either
Listen,
way, Philly's dropping the Lions based off experience.
impossible. Have you seen Hutch? Healthy Hutch? Have you seen this guy? He's going to terrorize Jalen Hurts. Terrorize Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts ain't waiting around that long.
Ah, God.
Move on to your Washington.
I don't want to move
And,
on. Now you've
and
got me fired up. Talking about the Eagles beating the
well,
Lions.
let me tell you one more little fun fact, okay?
Sure.
The Eagles are defending Super Bowl champs.
And that's out the window starting Thursday.
I wish it could. I wish it could.
As soon as that
Until
banner
the end.
drops, it's a new season, baby.
Well, we'll
You're
know
just
who'll
the
be.
Eagles. I
We
don't
will
want to hear
know who will
nothing.
be there watching. We'll know who'll be watching the Eagles banner drop. So
Yeah,
that
getting
always
ready,
brings
getting
love to my
handled.
heart.
Anyway, now we'll move on because
Move on. We
you
split.
forced
I
my
got
hand.
Eagles. You got Lions. Who are these guys facing?
Washington at home, number 2. Everything is in their favor now, and they take on an incoming Ram team that just went crazy against the Packers. The Rams are going to go crazy again in Washington and beat the Washington Commanders in Washington. Why? Because as you noted, I almost said Patrick Mahomes. Matthew Stafford, he's a veteran. He can travel. He can play in any condition, right? And this Rams team has been together for a while. I trust McVay. You know, they're a solid group, and they're going to go up there and they're going to win that game. And the Los Angeles Rams are going to head to the NFC title game. And it's what we've been waiting to see this for years, in my opinion. Like we've seen them play, but not in an NFC title game. Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff in Detroit. What say you?
I like the matchup. I won't even go into how, but I do believe and agree with you that the Rams are going to beat Washington no matter where it is. And if the Rams can go on a hot streak late, they are going to
Definitely.
be very, very hard to beat in any stadium. So
True.
if you're bringing, that's tough, man. In the Lions in Detroit, I think Stafford does his thing. I think Stafford would feed off of that environment, and Goff might feel left out at home. Detroit loves Matthew Stafford.
They
He
do, but
gave
they
them
also
golden
love
years.
Jared
They
Goff.
do love them some Jared Goff now. But I think when that, your girlfriend's great, right? But is Detroit married? Is Detroit married to Jared Goff? Because
Not
the
until he
ex
brings in a ring.
So the X is walking back in. The X is walking back through your doors into your house. And guess what he's flashing now? He's got hardware.
But
He left and
he's
won
got a
it.
different girl's ring though. He's got a different. Listen, I
They
think
might not see that. They
you're
might
right.
respect the Super Bowl winner and be like, man, that was our guy. I'm so happy for him. And because they get lost in the sauce, Jared Goff doesn't feel like he has that Detroit behind him. I don't care if you get Eminem to perform at halftime. It might not be enough. It might not be enough. If the Rams go hot, they're going to the Super Bowl. No doubt about it.
Okay, well, our first girlfriend went somewhere else to get a ring, right? Left us because we couldn't commit. We want to commit, but we really need you to get us a ring. And Jared Goff is going to rise to the occasion, at least in that one game. And he's going to beat Matthew Stafford in the home that Matthew Stafford built. Not really. That was really built by Barry, but you get what I'm
Barry,
saying. This is going to be a great game, though. Might be better than the Super Bowl itself. It's going to be a back and forth thing, and it's going to be Jared Goff at the end who has to do something, and he does it while Matthew Stafford watches on the sideline and can do nothing. So I expect that the Detroit Lions will take on the Buffalo Bills in this year's
you have
Super
a
Bowl.
you have a very young QB accepting the passing of the torch vibe going on here. Aaron Rodgers tries his best, but Josh Allen just does it.
Correct.
You know,
I hadn't thought about that.
Stafford does his thing, but the old geezer goes down, and the passing of the torch respectfully, and by all means, if he was to drop, I gotta say it, that would be how I want it to go down in a shootout where Goff proved that he was the better end of the trade. He
Right.
gets to a Super Bowl, but you've been there before. So can you be like Jalen Hurts and win the second time around?
Mm, mm. I keep Jalen Hurts.
That's
Okay.
your guy. That's your
Well,
guy. Oh, I would love to see, by the way, my pick would be Jalen Hurts versus Josh Allen. Remember,
okay.
if we're going on mine, that's there. And you can run past it. Okay, fine. Nope. We're going to talk about Jalen real quick. Jalen Hurts is the top 10 quarterback in the NFL. That's my nugget.
Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
There it
That's my
is.
nugget.
There it is.
I mean, you just can't be. You ranked 32 in passing last
You
year.
just couldn't let it go. You just
Couldn't even
could
throw
not
for
let it go.
3,000
You
yards.
couldn't let it go,
No,
huh?
I'm
I
not
had
going
to
to let
slip it
that
in there.
go.
You can't let it go. Yeah.
Ridiculous. That's
Let's
ridiculous.
get
I can't
into
believe
our
we're going to let you handle
hypothetical.
fantasy. That's
Let's
ridiculous.
get into our. You'll like my
Well,
fantasy
well,
because
well,
fantasy
wait,
football is
wait.
way different.
We're not done yet because you
Oh
haven't
yes.
really committed. I need you to commit. I'm committing. The Super Bowl will be the Detroit Lions versus the Buffalo Bills. And for the first time in NFL history, one of these teams has to win a Super Bowl. And for the first time in NFL history, we will crown the Buffalo Bills. That's all I have to say.
Sorry. The matchup you proposed is the Bills versus the Lions. If it gets to that point, the Detroit Lions get over the hump. Goff has already beat the big bad cloud over his head in Stafford. He takes down Josh Allen, who still has a chance to get there. But the window in Detroit is based on these running backs. It's based on this defense that they have. And Jared Goff isn't getting any younger. Josh Allen, I'm sorry, you need more weapons. If you end up facing Jared Goff and Mr. Campbell, I think you end up with the wide-eyed Goff and a wide-eyed Josh Allen. And Dan Campbell says, "Hey, calm down."
Oh, God. You don't think Dan Campbell's wide eyed? 4th and
No,
15. Go for it.
no,
Go for it.
absolutely. And Josh Allen wishes, I wish that was my coach.
Right? Oh, my
I
gosh.
wish that
Okay.
was
So
my coach.
that's my matchup. You didn't want to go through your whole seedings and everything because we kind of went back and forth. Just give me your Super Bowl matchup in winner. I think I know who it is, but go ahead.
I'm gonna have the Ravens. They get there, and I do think they play the Rams in a lopsided matchup. Now, that's mine. I'm gonna be realist real quick. I think the Ravens face the Eagles, and we have a bird matchup. I think the Eagles get back. They're a very good team all the way around. In that QB matchup, though, I gotta go with Lamar. In that, if Lamar gets to the Super Bowl, oh man, he is not letting that slip away.
Well, NFC teams
Sorry.
don't beat the Ravens very very often, so I think he's like 12-1 against NFC teams or something. So I fully expect if that were to happen, Lamar would win. People have been talking about Eagles versus Ravens Super Bowl for like 3 years now. That is maybe the worst Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls to watch. I don't want anything to do with that game, and I certainly hope it doesn't happen. All right, let's talk about this for a minute before we get into fantasy, because there was a big trade before I went through all this, and I had a lot of fun doing that. But there was a big trade with Micah Parsons this week going to Green Bay. Now, my opinion is that the only way that it affects Dallas more than Green Bay to me. I don't think Dallas is set up this year to be any good. We don't know what those number one picks will yield. Will they be traded? Will they get somebody, in the late teens, early 20s? Who knows? But for this year, I think the Cowboys have gotten worse. Not a surprise there. I think the Packers have gotten a little better, but did they get good enough to win that division, which is what they would have to do, right? For the Packers to really for their fate to change, they'd have to be good enough or have gotten good enough to now win the division. And to win the division, you have to beat the Detroit Lions. I don't think they're there yet, even with the addition of Micah Parsons, who, by the way, may not play week one because he's got something wrong with his back already, which was already looming. So I'm going to say that while the Cowboys did get worse, I don't think the Packers got good enough to do anything this year necessarily that's going to change their fate. So, it is what it is. What do you think?
I'm gonna go in on Micah Parsons here. He won. He got his bag. But I see your podcast going down a little bit because no one wants to watch an edge rusher coming out of Green Bay, right?
No,
No one's going to watch that.
no
You're
one
not in
cares.
Dallas. The star effect will happen. And he's an overhyped edge rusher. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Parsons gets all the media love, but he disappears in big games when the team scheme against him. Jerry actually said some truth on that podium, which is hard to get out of him. Y'all need to stop the run. He's more of a splash play guy to me, and than a consistent, like game wrecker. I don't see him. He's not a Bosa. He's not a Watt to me. These guys are more than just edge rushers. He's one dimensional. He's an elite pass rusher. I'm giving him that, sure, but Dallas wasn't using him like that really. He doesn't stack up with the T.J. Watts, and I'm gonna do another one, Mr. Tackle for Loss, out in Las Vegas. Why are we
Crosby.
leaving Max Crosby out the mix here? Right? That's an all-around linebacker. These are linebackers we're talking about, not defensive ends. These are edge rushers. These are Von Miller paved the way for these guys, right? Can you rush the ball? Can you be big plays in big games? Von Miller got paid by the Bills, I think 40 mil for like 2 years just
Let's
to
be
edge.
fair. Hold on. Von Miller didn't
Just to
pave the
edge.
way. It wasn't Von Miller. It was Lawrence Taylor, and then it
Okay.
was
But these are all
Thomas
around,
from
but these are
from
all around
KC.
guys.
Right,
These are
right.
all around guys,
I just
you
want to
know?
make sure we're historically
Yeah.
accurate because I'm
For
older than
sure,
you.
for
That there
sure,
was guys
for
doing
sure.
this
There was
before Von
early
Miller.
paving. There was early paving.
Yes.
But when I talk about contract paving as well with the like that's when Von Miller, JJ Watt, but these
Yeah.
were all around guys. Von Miller, in my opinion, same thing. He's an edge rusher. He's not
Yeah.
putting his hand down dirt no more. He's here to sack QBs. And that's great. That's great. I'm happy for Micah. Maybe they use him how they're supposed to. The Packers defense did get better. That's why I oppose you. But back to the Micah stuff, man. He can't carry a defense alone. He
Right.
can't. That's why
They're
Jerry
they're
got rid of
they're
him.
better. I agree with you. They got better, but did they get good enough to be talked about as division winners?
I
And I
so they
don't think
can't
so.
pass the Lions. They can't jump the Lions like that. I think they're still better than Chicago, but I had them above Chicago already. And I'm not high on JJ. If JJ McCarthy comes out and starts throwing darts and ends up being who we're supposed to, but I did see a clip that I wanted to show you uh, of JJ McCarthy and his linemen having to tell him to step up.
You see, I
His
just went.
linemen.
I just left.
It,
I just
hey,
exit the
that's
stage when you
fine.
start talking
I
about JJ.
I should have put it on there, man. And I don't know if JJ's the leader vocally that we think he might be. There's a little bit of a quietness to him, and if you watch some of the camp stuff, so and just I think Micah, man, I think he may be a peak too early. And I'm big on your rookie year's the best year. Sure, he had some good stuff, but it's not the shock factor that it was. The league possibly figured out Micah. You know, was this a Dan Quinn product that works really really well? And we'll see. You know, he racks up pressures and stuff, but his sack totals are kind of a smoke and mirrors too, man. Like it's they're great, they're sacks, but when does he get them? Most of them
Yeah.
come with L's. Most of them come with losses, you
Well,
know. And
he's
he's
Cowboys.
got last take I got on him because I'm sorry, I could go on Micah for days. Cowboys fans love him. I get that, but in postseason, when the Cowboys needed people most, man, he's Houdini. He
I understand.
disappears, and does not, you know, change playoff outcomes. But I tell you, someone who does change Cowboy playoff games outcomes. Come on, where's it at?
Who? Who?
Tony Romo.
Oh, he only won like 2 games, but
Yeah, but he changed
you
outcomes for
said
the
Tony
worst.
before I
So
said Tony. I just want that to go out there.
I had to throw it in there because I'm more talking in the fact that
I
Tony
appreciate it.
Romo fumbled the bag a couple
Yep.
times as well as won a couple. So, but anyway, Micah trade, man. I want to see how it plays out. If y'all get in, if y'all even hit on one of those first round picks, I have the Dallas Cowboys winning that trade
All right. Now we're definitely going longer here today, folks. We just
for
had a lot
sure.
of fun with this show.
It was great.
Hey,
It's week one.
let's
There's
let the
some
folks know.
overtime.
I believe that this is happening, and I don't know if you have confirmed, but 10:30 to 11:30. I thought we confirmed this on Sunday morning. We will be right here with you. We'll be going through some pregame stuff. We're going to be talking some predictions on some of the bigger games that'll be happening that day, and just having some fun in a pregame show. So make sure you tune in
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 10:30 to 11:30, and when we kick off at 11:30, you can just go over to Fox and watch the rest of their pregame or CBS or whatever it is that you watch. You can watch NFL Network from 9 o'clock till 10:30. Then get off the Stuffy Network show. Come to us. Get in the comments. Let's have some fun. Let's celebrate that football is back. Let's do it together. Lo, before you give some fantasy nuggets for this week, give me one bold prediction this year that will, something in the playoffs. Give me a bold playoff prediction for this year.
Let's see. Bold playoff prediction. Man, do I want to go like bold as in like against my own? Um, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I've been harping on the Chiefs or this, Chiefs or that. If the Chiefs don't show up to play this year and the new Patrick Mahomes haircut doesn't work out, and this is unbiased, not like Tim, if the new haircut doesn't work out, Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos not only top that division, but make it to the AFC championship game.
Wow, that is a bold prediction.
It is. It is. But it would have to be super bold because this man right here did not like losing. Okay. But Bo Nix, he really enjoyed winning last year. So let's see what they can do more.
Okay, I'll give you one. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will break records this playoffs for the most points scored in a playoff
Ooh.
run. They will go
Okay.
crazy in the playoffs this year.
Do you have a
Absolutely
number?
nuts.
Do you have a number?
Yeah,
Give
I
me
don't
an
know what the
average.
record is. I don't know what the record is because we don't have people in our ear to tell us these things.
Sure, sure.
I'll tell you what, I will find out what the record is.
Hot takes. I expect them.
And then in hot takes on Sunday morning, we'll break that down. But I mean, they got to be scoring, 30, 40 points in each of those playoff games, including
I'm in the 36, 37 range per
yeah,
game, points per
something like
game
that.
for them to do that. Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
let's get into this a little bit. Listen, I haven't done fantasy football since 2016 when I was with my mates at I don't know, Hooters, I think. And I had just drafted Tony Romo. 10 minutes later, Tony Romo was hurt from a Seattle Seahawk trying to scramble for some reason, got thrown on his face, broke his collarbone again, entered Dak Prescott, and the rest is shitty history. So
It's history.
since that time, and I was stuck with a dead roster spot, obviously at that point. And it was the first time I'd ever drafted Tony Romo. And to feel that loss, I decided I would never do fantasy football again. I retired forever. So you though are the fantasy expert for the last 2 years. It's been Brandon Newey. He's big into that, DraftKings and all that stuff, and betting on the side. You are going to be our guy. So Sunday morning, you'll give some tips on who to bet,
Yeah,
maybe some underdogs, some things like that.
sure.
Today, people are trying to figure out their fantasy lineup. So let them know who should they start at quarterback.
Yeah,
Give them a couple of
yeah.
receivers, some running backs, maybe even a defensive nugget. Go.
Quick rundowns, man. So look, y'all, we'll format this as the season go. For those that don't know, fantasy has evolved. It is no longer your quarterback, your running back, your two receivers. It's not basic, okay? So if I give wide receivers and tight ends, there's startums, there's situms, there's stashums. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's dynasty flag football or it's dynasty fantasy football, okay? There could be flag coming soon with it going pro. But I digress. Tim stepped away from fantasy around the time I probably wanted to as well. Instead of stepping away, me and my mates decided to do a dynasty fantasy football league. So we're 12 years in. Okay. We draft only rookies every year and you get football year round, just the way I like it. You can trade in the off season, all that fun stuff. So there's different leagues. You have points per reception. You have non PPR leagues. Traditionally, most leagues go PPR now. I am going to stick on that. So any type of production that I have is based on points per reception. If there's lingo you don't know, tune into Fourth and Low. I'm talking all depth for fantasy. But for this week, it's week one. Things change. So Sunday, when you hear me, this could change. But I'm going to give you some eyeballs to look at, things to stash, check out your waiver wires, stuff like that. I don't know everybody's situation, and everyone's different. That's the beauty of it. We won't get into betting until later in the season when there's some data. Because if I bet, it's got to be almost a for sure thing, which is crazy, right? Because it's never for sure. Now, obvious starts. Let's take on some matchups. First place you want to look, Miami is playing Indianapolis. Start Devon A. Chain. He's going to have production. Start Tyreek Hill. Start Jaden Waddle. It's an explosive pass game, and all of them are going to get targets. The ball's out, the quickest in the league from Tua, who's made a commitment to not get hit this year. So let's see if he can get rid of the ball. Now, here's a quick sitter. Do not start Josh Downs. He had a great year last year. The Colts are coming in with questionable players, quarterbacks. We don't know what's going on. Until he shows he's healthy, sit Josh Downs, right? Another favorable matchup, Carolina at Jacksonville. You're thinking, this sucks. I don't want to see these two teams play. It is fantasy gems. Fantasy
Garbage bowl.
gems. Start Chuba Hubbard. They paid him last year early. He's going to get some touches. He's going to run the ball very, very well. Start your big man. You drafted him as a rookie. Why are you drafting a rookie and sitting him on your bench? Start Teteroa. We'll call him Tetmac for now. Tetmac, we need to start in all y'all's leagues and start the quarterback for the opposing team. Trevor Lawrence. He's going to have a good year. I don't know if we're starting Travis Hunter week one, but Brian Thomas Jr. is a for sure start. Okay. Now, here's one you might not like. Sit Travis Etienne. We don't know what they're going to do with him this year. High production last year led to injuries and smaller workloads. They might limit his role. He's touchdown dependent. All right. So those are my quick hits on matchups. My next one, start Baker Mayfield. He's my number one quarterback to start week one. He's
Baker.
going in. He's going in a defensive into a division matchup with Atlanta. I see him playing very well. Godwin's out, but he still has Mike Evans and the rookie Emeka. Egbuka's going to have a day. He has a coming out party because Mike Evans draws all the targets. Everyone that gets from that benefits is Baker Mayfield. Start him, right? Other key starters to trust without going in depth. Kyler Murray takes on the Saints. Start Kyler. Patrick Mahomes takes on the Chargers. Never, you never hear me bench Patty. Sorry, never. Now be cautious with Jaden Daniels. He takes on the Giants. Tim, you talked about it earlier. That defense could fly around. Jaden Daniels, we need to sit him. All right. Now, one more little gem I like to do, some bonus insights, is some sleepers to watch for Dynasty. Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown, Hollywood. Travis Kelsey's always a steady top tight end. I'm saying those two receivers because Rasheed Rice is going to be out. He will miss some time. 4 games, I believe. Draft them.
ED.
They
Yeah.
probably Hollywood probably slipped and didn't get drafted. Pick him up on the waiver wire, stash him. After week one, he could be in the wide receiver 2 talks, right? Some other high upside sleepers for you depth leagues, Ricky Pearsall, the 49er. Debo is gone. CMC, they don't want to get him hurt, and Kittle always draws attention. Ayuk is hurt. Jennings is hurt. I don't even know who the other receivers are. Ricky Pearsall will get some looks this week. Another stash him, Isaiah Likely. He's been hurt all preseason. Mark Andrews, they wanted to trade him this offseason. He had the infamous drop. Chances are Likely starts with the next couple weeks, if not right away. And lastly, your lovely Dallas Cowboys. My sleeper, Jaden Blue. I think he's going to be good. He's paved the way. I don't know who's ahead of him. Javante, Miles Sanders, doesn't matter. That rookie showed some stuff in preseason. I think you should draft him. It's a lot of information there, guys, but fantasy football can change at any given time. So check out Fourth and Low, hot takes all week. I'll even go live to answer some questions heavily. You don't have to pay for them. Just tap the screen. Gives us little likes, shares, all things fantasy football on there. And who knows, maybe Tim jumps on and gets back into fantasy football this year.
Oh, I don't know. I've been asked to join all these pick'em groups. So I'm in like 4 pick'em groups. So we'll see how that goes throughout the year. But wow, that's gonna wrap up preseason 2025.
It's here.
Somehow we've done 4 shows already in the preseason, and this show was our longest one yet. I think we're just excited. The season's
As
coming,
it should be. As it should
and
be.
I think that's what it is. You can expect these shows to not be quite as long on Tuesdays moving forward. We'll have a new format, obviously, but check us out Sunday morning, 10:30 to 11:30. Right here on YouTube at QB Huddle, and then every Tuesday live at noon at QB Huddle. Check out Fourth and Low on TikTok for more fantasy nuggets, and you can check out Tim Jitsu at TikTok just for some fun stuff. And I just like to banter, so that's what we're doing. Thank you to New Era Media for kicking us out. Thank you to allaccessfootball.com for our partnership with you. Make sure to go out to allaccessfootball.com and subscribe. You get a free newsletter. There's a Giants podcast. There's podcasts all about the draft coming up. If you're a draft heavy person and you're interested in what's going on for next year, get into that all access football. They have the draft Bible for more than 30 years, so you can learn everything. Next week, we start our new segments for those of you that have a small business, want to advertise with us. The QB's on fire. QB's in the dumpster juice right now, still available for you to advertise throughout the year. Get your logo on the screen, all kinds of stuff. So hit us up if you want to be a part of that. Lo, you got anything to say before we get up out of here?
Man, it's here, and y'all tap in, man. These are weekly deals. You want to try it out? Jump in. We'll sponsor you for a week, and it's vice versa. We could do some partnerships. The prices aren't heavy. You know what I mean? We're just looking to gain some traction, and I'll be curious to see who sponsors the garbage juice one, because we go in,
Oh,
we
we
go in.
we we go in. In fact, I've just decided on this call that part of our game predictions, where we will predict 4 or 5 of the bigger games for the weekend, we're also going to add a toilet bowl game for the weekend. Lo and I each will decide who our toilet bowl of the week game is going to be, and yeah, we'll have some fun with that too. Because who doesn't like to have fun on the toilet bowl? That's going to do it for this week. Make sure you become a huddler. Get on that subscribe, hit that button, hit that ding thing, that little bell. So every time we're on, you'll know. And we're going to go live on TikTok throughout the week too. So make sure you catch some of that. It should be a lot of fun. Just be part of the community. It's all about fun football talk here. Until Sunday, keep moving those chains, folks. See ya.